another round of battling nature's awesome elements. We begin our special expanded coverage with Joe Whitty in the News 4 Weather Center. Joe, an update, if you will.
Good morning, Carol. There is some good news from the Weather Department. The storm system is now about 250 miles south of Long Island, slowly moving away from us. Very good news. Weather radar, though, shows that we do have some snow on the backside of this storm. We're just about at the end of the snow, though. We do have snow warnings posted northwest of the city, up around Rockland, northern New Jersey, but basically that snow is moving to the east. And so we're going to see the end of the snow this evening, and that bodes very well. But some of the kids up north and west of the city are digging out of 6 to 12 inches, so they could be dreaming of a white Christmas. We'll have more details on that in just a few more minutes. Carol, Ralph?
All right, Joe, thank you. Heavy snow and flooding plague much of the area as the storm emergency enters its third day, and we're going to continue our team coverage beginning with Dave BROWDE on Long Island. Dave?
Well, Ralph, right now we are getting what you may see on your picture right now, a wind-whipped fine snow that really will sting your face. It is cold out here, it is wet, but the roads are passable. A lot of people are without power. A lot of people are still underwater. Wherever you are on Long Island, this storm has packed quite a punch.
The tide is unreal. What happened is the tide was about 8 to 10 feet above normal. The wind just blew the tide right across the whole community and submerged it.
The town of Oyster Bay and the bay itself became one and the same again today. Shore Road, the main artery into Bayville, is closed possibly for the rest of the year. You see this sailboat swamped just offshore? The same waters that put it undercut the causeway that supports the road. And just up the road in Bayville, entire neighborhoods have been underwater for more than a day now. Somewhere underneath here is Bay Beach Street. There's 7 feet of water in MARTY CHIANTELLA's basement. What you're looking at is the couch, the Christmas tree, and presents for his new twins floating just underneath the ceiling.
Been here since I'm 10 years old. You know, this time the sound came all the way up. The bay, it really didn't come over. This time the sound came up the Shore Road and West Harbor Road.
On the South Shore, the devastation is every bit as complete. On Fire Island, these houses in salt air used to be 30 to 40 feet from the water. Now some are completely gone. The surf is pounding at the sticks that support others.
A lot of good memories. The children grew up here since 1987. It's not a happy time. A lot of good memories.
The same winds that parked these boats in the middle of the road here in Oyster Bay knocked down trees into houses and knocked out power to almost a third of Long Island for a while. Crews from near the Canadian border were called down here to get the power restored.
How long you figure it'll be before you get home?
I don't know. They told us to bring stuff for 5 days.
The picture right now on the Nassau-Suffolk border is the winds are still whipping across the island, knocking out more and more power customers. Branches falling down and hitting power lines. Right now, Lilco is saying 56,000 homes are without power. At the peak, it was about 350,000 homes. They don't know exactly when they're going to get all of them back online. There is one area that is without phone service and without power, and we have a word from emergency authorities. If anyone is watching on a battery set out in Eaton's Neck, they are serving hot meals at the Eaton's Neck fire station if you can get there. And for those of you who may need drugs or prescriptions that you can't get, they are running a ferry service via the Coast Guard back to the mainland. Eaton's Neck entirely cut off at this hour, but they are trying to help people who are there. We continue now with our team coverage. Let's go about 60 miles to the west to Kevin ROWSON over in Little Ferry, New Jersey. Kevin, how you doing over there?
Well, David, when you think about this storm, you think about the damage on the Jersey Shore. And, of course, today we hear that the seawall at Seabright collapsed. But there are other towns in New Jersey that are affected by this storm. I'm in a shelter in Little Ferry at St. Margaret's Church with about 48 people right now. They've had about 200 people in and out of this shelter in the last 2 days. This town sits right on the Hackensack River, and I was down on the Jersey Shore yesterday, and I'll tell you, I've seen some of the worst flooding right here. Filling sandbags can only mean one thing: flooding, major flooding. The tidal surge has devastated this tiny community on the Hackensack River. About 5,000 residents are affected by the high water, many of them evacuated from their homes. Water levels buried cars and wiped out the first floors of many houses. When a fire alarm went off, firemen responded under the most trying conditions. There were those who stayed in their homes as long as they could, And when it came time... A lot of people have been pitching in here at the shelter, not only the Red Cross, but some local community residents and even some people from outside the community. And as you can see behind me, the National Guard is here, too. As much devastation as you saw in those pictures here, there's one thing to be thankful for, and that is that no one has been hurt seriously so far. Back to the studio. I'm sorry, let's go to Lou Young. He's up in Tarrytown to tell us what the picture is up there.
Well, it has been snowing here steadily north of the city pretty much all day. It seems to be tapering off. You can see the beautiful effects behind me, kind of a winter wonderland here up here. The bottom line is that the snow is on the ground. It is a substantial snow, but it's the type of thing they're used to dealing with up here. The Hudson Valley is decked out in white tonight. By midday, the storm was already imposing its new identity as a blizzard. In places, beautiful. This is Route 119 in Tarrytown, Westchester County. At mid-afternoon already, a highway hazard to be dealt with. West of the Hudson, in Rockland County, the snow had become a seasonal chore for many. David and Peter Dowd hope to make a couple of bucks off Dad this way, but it's a big driveway. A lot of work.
Yeah, I know.
Why do you do it?
Well, getting paid. Yeah, a lot.
At the river's edge in Stony Point, they're still cleaning up today from yesterday's high winds and high tide. Police and utility crews were helping a few of the 150 families evacuated from this mobile home park to settle back in. But many are still without a place to live.
Well, each pilot light has to be lit, and we have to make sure the house is safe, that there's no water damage and no electrical problems.
The people here had become accustomed to living this close to the water, but yesterday the high winds and the high tides conspired to bring the Hudson River right over the seawall here and directly into their homes.
Feel a little helpless, huh?
We are helpless, but we still got the spirit, and, you know, this definitely won't get us down.
Well, and the bottom line there is that they were thankful that the wind and the high tides and the flooding and the water are gone, and it is just snow and just cold. The plows are out on the roads here north of the city, Rockland, Orange, Westchester, Putnam counties. The roads are clear, if not passable. Caution, of course, is the watchword on the highways. As we send it back to the studio, we'll leave you with a closing image here. If you're wishing for a white Christmas, the wish just might come true. We're live in Westchester County. Lou Young, News 4 New York.
All right, Lou, Kevin, and Dave, thanks very much.
Poetic touch, but the storm's high tide floodwaters were especially destructive to shorefront neighborhoods. One in particular is Brooklyn's SEAGATE community, where some residents lost everything. Julian Phillips was there this morning when one family's nightmare became a harsh reality.
Oh, there goes the house! It happened in a split second. A beachfront home collapsing under the pressure of high winds and tides in SEAGATE. The brick home proving no match for yesterday's nor'easter, which set the stage for today's tragedy. You folks just left that house about 45 minutes before it collapsed.
We just left, and my father said, get out now, it's dangerous. We ran out, and we just came back here 45 minutes later, and it's gone.
What are you going to do right now?
Close our eyes, let it sink in. Thank goodness we have relatives that live a couple blocks away, and they're going to take us in, and I have no idea. Let's first work on telling my father.
Many are calling it SEAGATE's worst hour. Other homes here buckling under the pressure. A private beachfront community in Brooklyn that was devastated by the storm, as well as the ones hitting here over the past 2 years. The high tides have caused millions of dollars worth of damage, and cleanup is not the issue here. Securing what is left is their major concern. A community now without gas or heat. How are you holding up without no gas?
It's not good because there's no heat and it's very cold and damp.
Our house is on a wing of a prayer. Half the wall is standing up. And we lost our pool. We lost something there that's been there 70 years already. And we just don't know where we're going to get money to fix it.
People here are looking for federal aid, something that they hope now will be forthcoming. Julian Phillips, News 4, Brooklyn.
And parts of SEAGATE remain under evacuation. Officials fear other homes may collapse into the sea.
Well, while wicked waves did the damage along the coast, as we've been indicating, heavy snow is causing a lot of trouble for inland sections. Some of the hardest hit spots are in Connecticut. Up to a foot of snow got dumped in the northwestern hills and the central sections of that state, and portions of Litchfield County were blanketed with as much as 2 feet of snow. Better news for air travelers. LaGuardia Airport is back in business this evening after the storm forced it to close yesterday, as you likely heard. Strong winds and heavy rains grounded hundreds of flights at the height of the storm. The airport reopened at 12:20 this afternoon despite that steady snowfall. And because only one of the airport's 2 runways is in service, passengers should expect delays.
And while that air traffic slowly returns to normal, that's far from the case with area roads. Jackie Myers-Sims has the latest from Shadow Traffic. Jackie.
Thanks, Carol. And as Ralph mentioned, we're looking at very heavy snowfall now north and west of the city. Very slippery road conditions in Connecticut, I-95 and the Merritt Parkway through Fairfield County. In New Jersey, Route 80 a mess out through Rockaway Township. Out on the New Jersey Turnpike, speeds have been reduced to 45 miles an hour. That's from interchange 7A in toward the northern terminus. And a state of emergency continues in Little Ferry, Route 46, with problems out across the Hackensack River. Now, word that we're getting is that that may, in fact, be reopened shortly. Still problems as a result of yesterday's flooding on the east side. Both the FDR Drive and Harlem River Drive still shut down from Dyckman Street through to the South Ferry Tunnel. And we've got some transit troubles as well. Path service suspended till further notice. New Jersey transit trains with North Jersey Coastline service suspended. The LIRR with bus service on the main line east of Ronkonkoma. And at the airports right now, delays of up to 90 minutes on arrival. So a good idea to check with your carrier. Back to you in the studio.
Jackie, one fast question.
Sure.
Have you heard of any ice building up on some of these roads coming into the city?
Well, a lot of the roads, especially, again, north and west of the city, are being hit the hardest with the icy conditions. And certainly if the temperatures drop, all the roads that are wet right now are going to get even icier.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Jackie.
And still ahead on News 4, an investigation continues into an explosion that leveled a Harlem supermarket. Democratic Party Chairman Ron Brown gets the news.
Jet stream this time went into a huge